All right. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, the stream's going to be a little bit behind on this one. For some reason, there's a bit of a delay. So I am gonna, we're gonna work with that. I don't know what's going on with it. Yeah, just a little bit of a delay. So, how's everybody doing tonight? How are we all coping? I guess. I will not let you know if the chat won the pick points. Real quick, let's read a super chat from 670 package win for 5. 2022 goes to the 22. This year will be talked about for a long time. That it will. And while I'm thinking about it, I am going to update. Make sure you vote on the poll on the community tab about this race, last one of the season. It is a very, very mixed bag. We'll just put it like that. But a lot of people coming in with a lot of opinions. I'm going to share this on Twitter. Make sure we get as many people as possible to come in on this one. Thank you, John, for the 2. Logano was honestly one of the best this season. I agree. Let's see. Saying we're having a little bit of issue here. Let me... Okay, I think we got everything good. We're having a little issue on my end, but nothing too severe. But yes, so the season is over. Marky Mark, thank you for the 5. Massive, massive pain as a Blaney fan. Blaney was fast enough to pass him at the end of the season and with a win, and end the season with a win. Darn it. I felt that way before as a Dale Jr. fan. But yeah, welcome to the post-race stream. Last one that we will be doing in 2022. And thank you for so many of you guys jumping in right now. We're going to make sure that we get everyone filed in. Thank you, Alex, for the 2 saying we won, chat. Not too hard to do all the math on that one, but the rest of it's pretty fun to look at. 670, thank you for the 5 again. Why is Phoenix a finale? The least, at least super speedways have passing. Yeah, I'm not really too happy about Phoenix overall in general. I thought that the Xfinity race was good, but this was not up to snuff for a cup finale. Bug Boy 92, thank you for the 5. Congrats to Joey, 2-time champ. Horrible race. Phoenix should not be the final race, in my opinion. Almost fell asleep. Thank you, No Copyright Gameplay, for the 5. Rooting for Chastain, and because of that, I hope he fails inspection. Probably talking about Joey Logano. Thank you, Tyler, for the 5 as well. Great season ends with him winning. Sucks. Signed to Kenseth fan. Joe, thank you for the 10. I just won 700 on Logano. How about that, man? Nice job. As we got over 300 in here right now, be sure to click that like button. And I am going to share the stream on Twitter. Make sure, again, we get as many people in here. You guys can vent. You guys can talk about how happy you are. You guys can leave whatever you want, as long as it's pretty respectful and we're not, going overboard. But let's have some fun. Let's see what we have opinions in here. Sure to lick that like button. Really, really helps the channel, as well as all the support you guys are giving. It's awesome. Let's share the stream right now on Twitter. But yeah, what a season overall. Honestly, while it might not have had the finish that many people might have wanted, it still was a very memorable season. Let's see. Riss in the other room right now, my girlfriend. I was having a good day. We were having a great day, and then boom, Logano. IKS Ruby YouTube, thank you for the 10. Fun year overall. Can't wait for KFB in 2023. That's going to be a very interesting storyline heading into the year. 670, thank you for the 2. I'm leaving this for next year. Larson will return. Andrew, thank you for the 5. The car drives like the 550 package on short tracks. This race was hard to watch because of the dirty air being so bad. Congrats to Logano. I agree, and we'll talk about the racing product in a bit too. Groovy Goose, thank you for the 2. Rather boring race to end the season, in my opinion, but oh well. It's kind of the take I get from it. Isaac as well. Rest in peace, Coy Gibbs. We will talk a bit about that. Nothing really too much past what Joe Gibbs Racing put out. Want to respect the family on that one. And Daniel, thank you for the 5. Thank you, Elliot, for a great season. Peaked too soon. Thankfully, Trash Stain didn't win. Congrats to the 22. I'll always be thankful to have 2020. I mean, it was a very good year for Elliot. I would say overall he probably had the best overall season, but nobody put the full season together this year, in my opinion. This was probably the most inconsistent season when it came to those who were up front, just because nobody really got a hang of anything at any point. But not a surprise that Logano won this race. He was fast at Gateway, got a win there. He's always been fast at New Hampshire, pretty fast in comparison at Phoenix. So good race overall for Joey Logano, but it's not something that was unforeseen. But let's get into a little bit of it. I apologize, my voice a little off. Had a little issue. But nothing too awful serious. I'll make sure. I did tweet out there. I'm like, fans waited all year for a Joey Logano championship. I know there's a lot of people that are pretty happy, but I see JC in the chat. Logano isn't a controversial champion. Guy won 4 races and would have finished second in other formats. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, this year was not by any means like a travesty, kind of like some other years have been for playoff and chase formats. Joe, thank you for the 5. No matter how much people hate him, this makes Logano one of the best of all time. Logano haters make this even more fun. No matter what the system is, in different years, Logano would be a multi-time champ. I believe in all but Winston Cup, but every other one. I mean, he's had great seasons. He's one of the best out there. James, thank you for the 5. Let's go. The 22 wins number 2 and 22. Lots of 2s. Let's get into the final finishing order of this race. I know a lot of people are coming in to hear that too, because a lot of people weren't rooting for just championship guys. There were an entire field of 36 out there. So Joey Logano got the win over his teammate Ryan Blaney. I'm going to double check, but I think the margin of victory was pretty close. Yeah, it was 0.301. By the way, we'll get to those super chats after we get through at least the top 10. But won by 0.301 seconds. Ross Chastain finished second in the points with the third place finish. Chase Briscoe, another solid run, finishes 4th. 14 team might not have been great this year, but I think they're going to be a threat to come next season. Then 5th was Kevin Harvick. 6th, William Byron. 7th, Kyle Busch in the last race with M&M's. 8th, Denny Hamlin. 9th, Kyle Larson. 10th, Christopher Bell. We'll get to why Bell was in 10th in a bit. Then in 11th, you had Austin Cindric. 16th of AJ Allmendinger in 12th. 13th, Austin Dillon. 14th, Eric Jones. Martin Truex Jr. 15th. 16th, Cole Custer. Daniel Hemrick subbing in, finished 17th. Corey LaJoie with a strong 18th place finish to finish out the season. Harrison Burton at the end of his rookie campaign gets a 19th place finish, and 20th goes to Eric Almirola. 21st, Christopher Buescher was the final guy finishing on the lead lap. I'm going to make sure that I have it pulled up and ready to go, just making sure that in case anything happens in post-race that we might need to know about. I don't think we're going to have any fights or anything like that. There was no real bad issues there. But before we get to the lap down, guys, let's get to 2 of those super chats that came in. Alexander, thank you for the 10. Hope Joey fails post-race inspection. Ford doesn't have the car to win the championship. Clown cheater. Also, get him out of the Fox Xfinity booth. I think you're just a little salty. But is what it is. Joey earned it. Under the format we have, Joey earned it. He had a great season overall, too. He was one of the best. So I have no issue with Joey Logano winning a championship. Jupiter Rain, thank you for the 2. Chase choked again. I don't think he choked, but if you want to call him Mickey champion, you do whatever makes you happy. 670, thank you for the 2. Pit Crew Phoenix strikes again. Yeah, pit crews were an issue. If you remember, Bell's crew also, unless they made a swap since then, was Bubba's crew that had been messing up so much this season. So it's not too much out there, honestly. Wolfion 0617, thank you for the 2. Logano better get DQ'd. Don't think it's going to happen. Jupiter Rain, thank you for the 2. Chase, I don't think it's a problem with Chase. I think you're just a little salty. Gavin, thank you for being a member for 5 months. As a Larson fan, I'm indifferent about Logano. honestly, at this point, I'm kind of the same. I've gotten over. Irvin in the chat, salt mines are being mined for the winter season. This chat next to Packer fans and tree. Yeah, that's right. The Packers lost to Detroit. That's funny. Let's get to the rest of the finishing order here. 22nd, first car lap down was Bubba Wallace. 23rd was Tyler Reddick, lap down. All these guys are lap down until I say otherwise. Daniel Suarez finished 24th. 25th, Michael McDowell, after some issues that he had, which were very, very odd. I don't know what happened there. Ty Dillon finished 26th, and Justin Haley 27th. 28th, final of the championship four guys was Chase Elliott, -2 down. 29th, 3 laps down was Todd Gill, or was it Gillen? Yeah, Gillen. Todd Gillen. I don't know why I was having an issue there all of a sudden. And 30th, 4 laps down was Cody Ware. 31st, 5 laps down was BJ McLeod. 5 laps down as well was Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in 32nd. Garrett Smithley finished 8 laps down in 33rd. Alex Bowman 8 laps down in 34th. In his final race with Greg Ives, coming back for a one-off race at the end of the season. Then you have Brad Keselowski in 35th, out of the race, and 36th, last place, Landon Castle finishing out. Montana, thank you for the 5. Every driver who won the pole won the championship this weekend. Interesting. Very interesting. I didn't even think about that. I'm looking at the screen right now, and Logano has just pulled into victory lane. They removed the window, and he's about to probably climb out of the trophy presentation in a moment. But looking at what you guys are saying in the chat, I did feel this race didn't have the championship feel that even last year's race did. I think part of it is Phoenix. A lot of us are still so used to Homestead that the difference is still very much apparent. Mafire 924, thank you for the 2. How can you say Chase didn't earn it 3 top 10s only? Didn't earn it? He didn't have a good last 10 races. But overall, nobody had a great season. Everyone had a good season, but there were no great if everybody had a season that they had this year that was in the Final Four next year, I feel like next year we're going to see a lot of these teams tighten up, have a lot more consistent seasons. I mean, when you look at 2013 to 2014, you saw a lot more drivers. The cream rose to the top. The guys who were really good in general got even better. The guys who were mid stayed mid. The guys who were worse got worse. That's just how it is with every generation of car, no matter how much they want to make the parity. When you look at 2007, 2008, it was the same way with Hendrick and Roush and Joe Gibbs Racing rising above while the rest sort of flatlined. And I think we're going to see the same thing in 2023. I think you need to look back at 2008 and 2014 for looking ahead. Let's see what else we have in here. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Jacob, for the 10. NASCAR really needs to switch up the point system. Every fan dislikes or downright hates this format. At the bare minimum, they need to forever move the championship race away from Phoenix. I mean, I think that a good option would be moving back to Homestead if they got some good renovations. My theory is that one day they're going to move it to Daytona. I don't like that idea, but I think one day they will. MVR owners in the chat saying, Jared, I called it. I think a lot of people called it. I see Jam plays. I wouldn't say it's universally hated. It's very hard to gauge off social media because social media is so much of the loud minority, the loud plurality. It's very odd to see. I personally think most fans don't like it, but I know a lot of fans do like it, and I know it drums up a lot of drama, and that's what fans want. I mean, NASCAR got what they want last week, and I bet you, even with the race being pretty mid, that the ratings are probably going to be up. I don't think that, I see people saying that, bring it back to Atlanta. People saying maybe Bristol or Las Vegas. But the problem is that SMI owns those tracks, and I think NASCAR owning ISC is going to want to keep the championship race right where it's at. Oh, man. I don't know what's up. I had some carrots earlier, and I'm not feeling all that great. I agree with you in there, Daniel. Better than Texas. A lot better than Texas. Boring race, car, or track. I think it was partly car with the short track program. I don't know about, I think the track didn't help either. But the Xfinity program, the Xfinity race, I should say, yesterday with the Xfinity package proved that it's not necessarily the track because that was, in my opinion, a really good race. I thought the truck race was mid till 15 to go. I thought this race was okay, I guess. But the Xfinity race proved that with the right package, this track can do very well. My fire, 924, thank you for the $2 super chat. Champs don't matter anymore, so I love Daytona finale. I feel like at some point it would happen. It's going to happen at some point, whether it's like the race is rained out in August where NASCAR just wants peak chaos. I think that's what's going to happen. Someone said laughing my ass off to Randy. Is there a Randy that made something funny up there? Oh, God. No, I'm not saying to boycott NASCAR. I think that's not going to change anything. Marky Mark, thank you for the 2. NASCAR has a lot of work to do in the offseason. I agree. I think number one is get the safety right in these cars. Seems like they're doing that, and they're doing it without charging the teams. I like that idea. I like that as an olive branch, especially going into a year that they're going to be negotiating for the future broadcasting rights of this sport. It's a big year, 2023. A quick thought on Detroit beating Green Bay. Funny as hell, and I'm glad that Minnesota basically has a 5-game lead in the division heading to Buffalo, because Lord knows we ain't winning that one. And if we do, I don't know. I don't know what I'll do. I'll probably run around the neighborhood with my shirt off or something. But let's look into the race. We started off the morning before the race with some not so good news. The rumors and then ultimately the announcement of the passing of Coy Gibbs from JGR right after his son Ty won a championship. I don't, there's no speculating. If any details are wanted to be shared, they will be in the coming days. But I think that we can all rally together and say that, if you're someone who prays, you're praying for the Gibbs family. If you're somebody who, if you're somebody who just otherwise would just keep them in your thoughts, whatever it might be, I think that would be the right way to go about it. It's an unfortunate event by all accounts. But with what little we know, there's no real reason to talk about it in the sense of like speculating. No reason to speculate. No reason to be disrespectful of the family. If you see anyone in the chat be disrespectful about it, ban them. Like if you're a mod, because there's no place for that. That family deserves the respect and grace and honor that you would give any other person. Family over NASCAR, family over racing. There's more important things than what happens on the track on Sundays. But it's a bad deal all around, and at least one positive is with the off season, they'll have time to grieve together. But yes, rest in peace to Coy Gibbs, and thoughts and prayers, whatever you might have, to the entire Gibbs family and team. But that was how we started the day. Stage, going into the race itself, there's still, it was definitely it had a very different feel to it, because of that news. And honestly, it kind of, when talking about the race itself, it felt more like just any old race, honestly. And that's what kind of sucks about it, is at least when we had it at the Homestead Miami Speedway, there was that, There was a grand feeling at Homestead when the finale was there. Something that, in my opinion, has really been missing from Phoenix, and for some reason they just cannot capture it. Obviously, what happened this morning was not in any way going to help make this race feel as grand and fun as NASCAR would want, but there's something off with Phoenix as the finale, and I can't put my finger on it, but it does not feel like a grand stage. But in the early, in stage one, started this race, you had Joey Logano leading early. Elliott was like a top 5 to top 10s, and then you had Bell and Chastain stuck due to bad qualifying runs and just all around, difficulty to pass. After that, you finish the stage up with Logano winning it. Elliott was 6th, 11th was Bell, 13th Chastain. You go into stage 2 then, and it's basically the same out of the pits, though those bottom 2 guys are starting to make their way up, and it's pretty clear that this isn't going to be, horrid. Like, it's not going to be just a complete runaway from the 22. that he will have competition, but there really wasn't too awful much going on through the race that were like major big moves. You had, for instance, you did have an incident for the second yellow of the day, or like the first one of the day due to incident, I think, between Landon Castle and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. A lot of the accidents happened on the backstretch, which I found very odd personally. But from that point, you really had the battle start becoming between all four of them. And at that point, off the out of the pits at one point, you had Bell starting to make up ground. He was starting to make up ground on the 22, and lap 94 almost ended the season right there when it came to the 20 team. Bell gets onto the high side, maybe a little contact, maybe a little iffiness here or there. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's been 2.5 hours, but Bell nearly spins out, saves it, but at that point, he's behind the 8 ball a little bit, going to have to probably do a little bit of strategy stuff like that. You get to halfway and you start having some pits towards the end of stage 2. People are saving fuel. It was actually really cool to see strategy, see the crew chiefs come into play a little bit. Most people decided to save, whereas Chase Elliott pitted, and he only lost 3 spots on that. And honestly, I like that idea of giving that gamble. Elliott was not going to run down Joey Logano just saving fuel. He was not going to be able to go out there and, make up any of that ground without doing something different. And had Logano or any of the guys in the championship 4 had issues with fuel or run out of gas with a lap or 2 left to go in the stage, they're behind the 8 ball, maybe a lap down, maybe having to take a wave around at the start of the final stage, and you're looking at Elliott maybe leapfrogging them. So even though it didn't work out, I like the move from Alan Gustafson. They didn't hit on the setup the way that the 22 did, so good call on that one. You go into the final stage, and unlike the last 2 races, a majority of the real big moments almost happened in the first 2 stages. You had the incident between the 34 and the 8 and the 42 on a restart. With lap 200, Elliott got wrecked into the inside wall of the dog leg. And a lot of people might blame Ross Chastain, but the restart showed it. Elliott turned across his nose. Maybe he didn't know he was there. I'm not going to say it was like Elliott being, choking or dumb or anything like that, but Elliott made a bad move. Chastain held his ground because you're racing for a championship. You can't just lay over for somebody on a restart at a track that you can't pass at. And ultimately, that ended Elliott's bid for a championship this season. He ended up going a lap down, and then under green on the ensuing run went 2 laps down. So with 63 to go, you're starting to have a longer run here. Bell was the first to pit. Then Chastain pit with 62 to go, a lap after Bell pit, and then a lap after Chastain pits with 61 to go, you have Joey Logano pit. At that point, the 20 and the 22 are right on top of each other. And I thought at that point that the 20 had started to hit on the setup more, was getting more clean air, was making up ground on that 11 car, or on that 22 car. And I honest to God thought that Bell might have been able to pull it off there. But the big turning point of this race was with 44 to go, when Michael McDowell made a really stupid error coming up into Alex Bowman. Like, I don't know what he was doing. And this is coming from someone who is basically a Michael McDowell fan. I have no idea what Michael McDowell was doing or thinking in that moment, but he basically junked Alex Bowman towards the end there. And ended what was an okay return, a very quiet return for the 48 team with Bowman. The final race with Greg Ives, a lot of changes going on there. And this is where we had the turning point of the race. The championship guys had good, solid pit stops for the most part. Logano got off pit road 3rd, top of those guys. Chastain had a pretty solid stop, but still was about 4 spots behind him. What is this? Oh, yeah, we'll talk. I see someone leaving a link, Irvin leaving a link in the chat. If that's what I think it is, I think on one of the final restarts, Chris Buescher's crewman got hurt or on one of the final pit stops, I should say, not restarts. Under that same caution, though, that Logano had a solid pit stop and got him out in front of everybody that was in the championship hunt. You had the blunder of the year from Christopher Bell's team, a 19.8-second stop on the money stop. Took him completely out of the running, restarted 15th, only made up 5 spots in the last 30 laps. And it was, that's all she wrote. There's nothing really more to say about that other than that pit crew swap and those guys that came over and how that all worked out. Ended up costing Christopher Bell when it mattered most. And ultimately, it cost us a relatively good battle for the championship, because I think that Bell had what it took to keep up with him, but because it was so difficult to pass, once you're stuck in the back, there's nothing you can do at that point. They restarted with 29 to go. Logano and Blaney went way out into a big lead. Blaney basically kind of playing defense behind the 22, not passing him, not holding him up, not letting anybody in. Ross Chastain finally got around guys like Harvick and Byron and everybody else that was around there, but at that point, it was over. It was over. There was too much of a gap. And even though he was making up a ton of ground in the closing laps, it was too little too late. Logano wins his second championship. He won the championship in 2018, and now he has won the championship in 2022. Looking at some of these super chats that came in, thank you guys for being very patient with me. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Jacob, you were the first one that I haven't read yet for 5. Thank you. Maybe I'm biased because this is the 4th time the chase and playoff system has robbed my driver of a championship, and I see you are a Gordon Elliott fan. I understand the bias. I get it. I was once a fan of a singular driver at one point, and there is definitely a different way to see it, but I respect. I respect. I'm being unhappy with it. Carl Singleton, thank you for the 5. Cheering. Let's see, and this your comment is cheering Coy Gibbs' death because of ties like EDP celebrating Dak Prescott's injury. Yeah, just classless. People who did that is classless, and if you see, again, if you're mods and you see that in this chat, ban them, because I don't want anything to do with people that do stuff like that. That is wrong in so many levels. 670 package, thank you for the 2. Chastain has gone from mid to championship 4. He won 2022. He was the main character this year. Ultimately, just came up short at the end. It was almost like a Greek tragedy. Napa Racing fan 927, thank you for 5. As a NASCAR fan, not as a biased Elliott fan, because I think you based on the name you have, I can see you root for Elliott. I hate this format. Championships shouldn't come down to one race. Manufactured Game 7 moments aren't special. I mean, I agree, but after last week, it ain't going anywhere, so we might as well learn to accept it. Let's see what else we have here. Milton, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hell of a drive, Logano. Congrats for winning another title. Shame my driver Chase took himself out of a great season. Race in peace, Coy Gibbs. I love how respectful that we are being in the chat. It really makes me happy to know that all of you guys are very, very have very, very much class with something like this. Marky Mark, thank you for the 2. What will we do on Sunday afternoons? Watch football, I guess. I will have a couple probably streams in the off season at different points, probably on a Sunday, because not everybody's going to want to watch football all the time. I do, because of getting the giant super chat. I have found a NASCAR romance novel I'll read probably after Thanksgiving. I told you guys I would do that. Maybe 1 or 2 other streams, practicing different stuff for the podcast next year, which, by the way, since we are at around 650 watching, be sure to watch the NASCAR Weekly Podcast this Wednesday night on Eric Estep's channel at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Got a ton to talk about. Season finale. Last you're going to see of us until you get back to my channel February 1st, 2023 at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So it's going to be a lot. Man. But I get it. I'm going to miss racing for sure in the off season. Mike, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Phoenix is a terrible track for a finale. I agree. Glad for Joey. Not even the biggest fan, but it was fair. Again, I agree. Under the rules we have, it was a fair, good championship. God. Um, I see in the chat NASCAR romance novel. Yeah, people wanted to see what I could do for it. I asked for a $300 super chat. If someone left that in, I would be able to, and someone delivered. Also, most drivers, glad most drivers spoke about Coy Gibbs. Well, he had a lot of reach into the garage. Something I want to run past you guys, because I'm going to be experimenting over the off season and testing different stuff. And this wouldn't be for everybody. We'd have to figure out a correct way to do it. I'd probably announce it on the show after the Busch Clash next year. But do y'all want a call-in segment on these post-race streams? And I'll give you yes, no, and I don't care. So asking you guys now, asking on a poll. Private Donut, thank you for the $2 super chat. Planning to go to the 2023 Daytona 500? Maybe. Working on lining some stuff up. So, thank you, Beast1624, for the $5 super chat as well. Yeah, and Jason, thank you for the 2. Championship should be different track every year. I like that idea. NASCAR Racing Fan 927, thank you for the 2. Las Vegas would be a better track for a championship. I agree, a lot better racing. Again, when it comes to a call-in segment being a Zoom call, we'd have to do a bit of a vetting process. I've seen a lot of other shows on YouTube do it like this. We would set up a very much a standard of what you can and can't say. We would basically try and act like we're on radio in the sense of, no cussing, try and keep it PG. We do have families who watch this, kids who watch this, that I don't want hearing that kind of language. You'd have to have a working camera. You'd have to have a working mic, not have a bunch of background noise, be able to kind of prove it too. Maybe have like on one of the old emails. I know that, people are wanting Discord, all this other stuff, but there are certain things that I need to keep the same to make these things work. We're gonna definitely update a lot of good stuff and make this better as we go into 2023. Definitely want to up the ante. Be sure to click that like button while you're at it, by the way. Speedway Anywhere, thank you for the 5. Hats off to Logano. Roller coaster of emotions today. And thank God the Vikings got the Mickey. Oh God, yeah, that was pathetic by Minnesota today. The fact they didn't deserve to win. Even if the refs screwed them on that one, like, they shouldn't have been in that position to begin with. B1624, thank you for the 5. Thanks for the live streams. As a Chastain fan following for 6 years today, I'm happy. Yeah, take this as a good start, and then from there, hope your team, hope your driver builds on it. Freddie, thank you for the 5. Does last week at Martinsville get a little less impressive now? If you do it multiple times, yes. I loved Ross's move, but it didn't win him a race or championship. I wouldn't say if just because of the result it doesn't. It was still impressive that he did it. Take that just as in a vacuum. Like, it was impressive that he was able to do that. Championship finale at California could drive away the fan base. I don't know. If you have it at a short track, though, people have been wanting short track racing, so maybe that's an option. Let's see what else we got in the chat. Yellow Flag Productions says, oh my gosh, a call-in segment would be so cool. I'll keep that in mind. Wolfie on 0617, thank you for the 2. Darlington should be the championship race. I would like that, but you would probably have to move the Southern 500, which I wouldn't like. I want to keep that on a traditional date. But if you wanted to move maybe the spring one, that, especially if you had like a rotational championship, I think that might be something that could work personally. Yeah, we're going to make sure that we get the best out of the stream, by the way. I want to make sure that we get anything that you guys want to say, any super chats you do leave. I want to make sure that I read them. I want to make sure that I don't leave anyone on the hook for the off season. I would feel really bad. So, yeah, I like Steve Goodwin says, and I've agreed with this take from Eric too. As Eric has said, when are we going to start recognizing the Final Four? Because honestly, that's almost more impressive than winning a championship anymore. Like, a one race winner take all. Yes, it's good that your team shows up, but if you're really good at a track like Logano is here, or like, guys like Edwards were at Homestead, if it wasn't for something crazy happening, it's almost more impressive to make it into the Final Four than win a championship. So I really think that that's something that should be recognized. Don't hang the banner on it, but it's something that should be a statistic on like Racing Reference or ESPN or something like that. Oh, man. God. Irvin in the chat says Kyle Busch in the 8. Man, that's going to feel weird. I agree. I'm going to end the poll here. We have almost 300 votes. By the way, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe. We have tons of stuff in the off season. Going to be exploring everything from normal videos to other kind of fun live streams, YouTube shorts. We're going to be doing a ton of stuff in the off season to get you your NASCAR fix. So if you like what you're hearing here, you want to have some fun with it, watch some of the videos, subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. We're going to end the poll right now. 59% of you said yes, 27% said I don't care, and 14%, or 26% said I don't care, and 14% said no. So today, Minnesota Vikings better than today's race. I agree, and it wasn't that good. I thought it was a below average race personally. Which, speaking of how to rate races, because there's no NASCAR on TV right now, so I can actually check how the poll is doing. I want to see if we can break some records. I want to see if we can get like 20,000 votes on this. It's a tall task, but it's something that I think we'll be able to do. Again, go on the community tab and be sure to vote on the poll. We already have 3,500 votes in 40 minutes, so good stuff there. I get if you guys aren't happy with it. I understand that. I can't say I'm very happy with it as well. Let's see what else we have. Let's look what else you guys have in the chat. By the way, click that like button. Let's see if we can get to 200 likes by the time we hit the 45-minute mark in 8 minutes. That should be really fun. Special guest David Land or Slapshoes, make it happen. I mean, I'm friends with both of them, but the whole fun part about doing these post-race stream is like I like doing it in a lot of ways. And again, we had Darian on. I think Danny's in the other room. He might jump in just to say hi for a bit. There's not much room at this desk. It's very much boxed in. So, if we can figure out how to get multiple people into one location, that's fine. But I don't want to do a Zoom meeting. I want it to be more personal between me and you guys. I think that's a lot more fun way to do it personally. But we'll try and make some fun stuff happen. Let's see what else we have. Freddie Martinez, thank you for the $5 super chat. Now that Logano is a 2-time champion, would he be considered the favorite to get 3 titles over Kyle Busch, or is there another driver or another active driver that gets there? There very easily could be another active driver. I think guys like in Hendrick Motorsports, like Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson, would be very much in the running for that. Those two are probably 2 of the best 5 drivers in Cup right now. It's a big mystery about how Kyle Busch is going to perform when he goes over to RTR. That's going to be the big mystery of it all. If he performs as well as I think he's going to, I think he's just as likely as Logano. But we'll just have to wait and see until a couple races in the next year how it starts out. NASCAR Racing Fanatic 2425, thank you for the 2. Missing Rings Chase Elliott 2022, probably coming tomorrow. We do have a bit of a guest in here. I'll kind of scoot. I told you it is a weird pinch here, so I'll make sure this is the live cam. There he is.
Hi, you might recognize me.
I'll put it back on here. You're on camera from here. I'm just going through some of the super chats and chat, but if there's because that we're a couple minutes or a couple seconds on a delay right now. Cool. But there you are. Okay, now we'll see the chat start popping off here. Yeah, there we go. There, I see Spencer first one to pop off.
Yep.
The Rams lost?
Poor Darian.
Oh, look at the chat go. What would you like to say to everyone to end the season before Wednesday night?
I guess the best way to describe the season was it was just weird, but weird ending to it. Mm-hmm. Lots of cool moments, lots of bad moments. So
Yeah, it was very much a roller coaster.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to interrupt your live stream too much, but I will say I'll probably go live tomorrow night if anyone wants to come talk NASCAR with me there.
Nice. Yeah, be sure to be there. Be sure to lick the like
Well,
button in there too.
we'll probably talk about all three races from this weekend. So if you guys want to join me, probably about 8 o'clock Eastern time. So see you tomorrow.
Nice. Are you heading out then?
I'm just heading back out to your
Oh,
living room.
okay. Yeah, I'll be out in a bit. Yeah, we're about 40 minutes in, so we got we'll stay on here a little bit longer with you guys. Have some fun with it. So did the Rams actually just? I thought they were up like 16-9. They lost. They lost. Sorry, Darian, if you're watching. But yeah, as I was saying, Missing Rings Chase Elliott 2022. I'm pretty certain will be out tomorrow. I started working on it early just in case, and if you'd won a championship, it'd be a championship kind of video. So yeah, it's gonna be that's how we're gonna start out the week. Got a Ross Chastain video this week, but maybe that I don't know when that'll be. Joey Logano video has to for sure be out this week. It's gonna be a busy, fun week. We have some pretty cool things for those of you who are in the chat who have talked to me or sent DMs about the Hamburg Speedway. We're gonna start some projects with that. That's gonna be something really fun to do. So if you haven't, be sure to watch the video on the NASCAR original tracks. That was one of them. I don't know what happened, but I ate some carrots today and it didn't end out well. Double YouTube fan 5. Thank you for the $5 super chat. I have been out of the NASCAR loop for years. Ross's move got me to watch the race today, and boy, I was in for a surprise. Phoenix is not how I remember. Yes, if you are new, Phoenix has changed a ton since we since a lot of people have last left off. Up until 2011, you had the dog leg the way it was before with grass all over the place, Rattlesnake Hill. The current backstretch was the front stretch with the finish line. You had a reconfiguration, pretty much what we have now, pretty close, but with that same finish line area. And then you have the one you had now starting in, I believe, 2019, I want to say. So it's very different, very much different. Alex, thank you for the 5. Didn't leave anything to say, but I appreciate the support. I'm looking in the chat. Alabama's not making the college playoffs. I can't say that I'm unhappy about that. I've been having to hear way too much about them my entire, childhood into now. Searching for grip NASCAR news. Daddy Iceberg, I love you. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Cole Murray in the chat. Will Rockingham make a return to NASCAR sometime soon? Well, they are getting a repave and renovations, and it seems like the current ownership is very much pushing for that. I don't know which series yet. You hear rumblings every now and then about it. The only problem is there's just so many tracks around it, man. There's so many tracks around the North Carolina, Virginia area that it's very much saturated and on the verge of oversaturation with the current state of NASCAR. Napa Racing Fan 927 has updated it. The final score is Tampa Bay Buccaneers win 16-13 over the Los Angeles Rams. I am sorry, Darian, if you were watching. NASCAR Shill is thanking Steve Phelps. That seems about right. Let's see what else we got here. Also, I hope the Hail Melon made Phoenix race ratings jump up. I hope so. I just hope that they're able to stick around for next year. I would really hope that people give NASCAR a little more. Was Logano deserving of the championship? I think so. I mean, I think the most deserving was Elliott because he had the best overall season, but I have a bit of an old school mindset with NASCAR anymore. So under the current, mindset that we have, Logano very much was the most deserving driver. Under the format we have, or at least a very deserving. I don't know about most deserving, but a very much a deserving driver. All 4 of them were 4 of probably the best 5 or 6 all season. I'll miss you, M&M's. Yeah, this was Eminem's last race, and to be completely honest, they almost made it feel like Kyle Busch was retiring the way they talked about him. It was kind of odd to see how they addressed it, but It is gonna be weird, man. It's gonna be weird entering the 2023 season, and that 18 team is, if Ty Gibbs does get moved up like we all think he is, if that 18 team is a Monster Energy team, or if maybe Interstate Batteries comes back for a little bit more, I'm gonna be really, really interested to see how he performs with that. But at the same time, man, it's going to be weird not seeing the candy car out there. That has been one of the few staples of NASCAR since I started watching. And once again, just another change. Time keeps going on. Andrew in the chat, do you think Kyle Busch will win races for Childress next year? Yes, I personally do. I personally think that Kyle Busch is going to have a resurgence next year. He's going to have a new purpose. He is a pissed off Kyle Busch, and pissed off, motivated Kyle Busch is very much somebody who I think would benefit from having a scenery change too. GN NASCAR Fan 24, do you think the Hershey Chocolate Company comes to NASCAR in the next few years again? I don't know. I feel like people are just grasping at straws for that. I mean, yes, they've sponsored cars at contingencies or secondary sponsors. You've seen them at the track, but I think people are really trying to grasp too much at it yet. There's a void left over that a Reese's car could really very much fill. There's a void left over that a chocolate bar Hershey chocolate car could fill, but I don't know necessarily if they're going to come back. I think that, again, there's a lot of hoping versus a lot of people who are more looking at the actual facts of the matter, and there's been nothing to indicate that would happen. Jarrett, do you think Tennessee could make the college football playoffs? And I'm also from Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah, I think they still can. I think it's about the rankings coming out soon. I'm not very, into the intricacies of college football. I don't know as much as a lot of other people do. Probably should have asked that question when Danny was in here. He'd know a lot more than I would on that one. Yeah, let's keep this rolling. I think we'll stick around for about make the stream last about an hour, give or take. I think that, let's make this one a long one. Let's enjoy the end of the season together before we have a couple months where we're not doing this regularly. Alex, thank you for the $10 super chat. I meant to put this into my prior super chat. Out of any of the seasons where Chase Elliott has recorded a win, this is the first season of those wins that has not included a road course win. You know what? A lot of people have got on Elliott and like, oh, he's not the road course king, this or that. But I look at it like this. He's gotten, 5 wins this season, and none of them are road courses. He's not a one-trick pony. He is somebody who is getting better with his racecraft week in and week out. He is not even peaked yet, in my opinion. I don't think Chase Elliott will peak until about 10 years from now. This is a driver who very well could rewrite the record books in the modern era sense. I don't think he's going to win 7 like Jimmy, but at the same time, him and Larson are two drivers who I very much could see running up front, getting statistics of a Kevin Harvick, of a Kyle Busch. Maybe one of them hits a Dale Earnhardt style career. I mean, especially Elliott. Elliott, I think, has a lot higher to go. I think Larson is hit, has a high mark to hit, but you don't know how long Larson will stay based on some of the things he's said in the past. So, looking at some of the other ones. By the way, if there's any lag, just be sure to refresh. I don't think that's an overall issue. Or is it? No, I haven't dropped any frames. So if there's a lag, it's on your end, Lucio. Let's see what else we got in here. Groovy Goose, been a while since I followed up on any updates. What's the status in Chicagoland? Is it a goner? No, it is not. Chicagoland definitely is not gone by any means. I can't update really any more than that. Yellow Flag Productions, are you going to be streaming in the off season? Sparingly. We're going to test some stuff. I'm going to get a new setup for next year. We're going to get a better camera, better mic. Try and maybe even get a full-on better computer setup just so that we can not have any issues with internet either. Next year is going to be a total revamp in a lot of ways for this channel. There's going to be a lot of different changes while keeping a lot of good stuff at the same time. But I'll announce those at a later date. I just want to make it a lot more fun for you guys watching at home. Let's see what else we have. Trevor Bain to Xfinity. I mean, he's been in Xfinity part-time, but I hope he gets more races next year because I think he's earned it. Yeah, he didn't get a win, but he was up front battling the JRM cards week in and week out after not racing really full-time in a long-ass time. So, yeah. Aaron Gannon, how do you think Petty GMS will do next year with JJ on board? Do you think Jones can make the playoffs? I think Petty GMS, and I have a video coming out this week on this. Petty GMS, in my opinion, is the next elite team. I think that they have the ability to be the next elite team. The sky is the limit for them, I think. Are the J-Ski news streams coming back in the offseason? Oh, the IRL streams? They might. We might have one or two of them. We're going to change up the format of it and have, since, most of the people that are on it live down the road from me. Coleslaw Custard. How many wins will Harvick have to end his career with? What's he at? He's in like the 50s now. I mean, I think he'll get one or two more. Maybe 4 or 5. Let me look at the all-time wins list. He's got 60. Chat's going to immediately pop a bunch of those in there before I update it. I'll say 65. 65 is where I think he'll hit. Maybe 1 over, 1 under. Chrome Diesel, thank you for the 5. Almost 30 years ago will be the 15th November. The greatest championship battle ever happened at Atlanta. Gone too soon, Alan Kowicki and Davey Allison. Yeah, that's one that, man, if I could do a watch along with that, as long as I didn't get dinged for it, I would love to watch along with that one. Spencer says, guys, I just realized the Clash earlier this year was on February 6th, and guess what day this is? November 6th. Wow, it has been 9 months. 9 months. That's how long the NASCAR season lasted. Wow. Longest season in sports, and people think that there's no fatigue. Imagine thinking that. Let's see what else. 200 consecutive starts for Harvick today. Awesome. Let's see. You can watch old NASCAR. That is on YouTube. It's on NASCAR's YouTube channel. The ones on NASCAR's YouTube channel, which this is a thing in general for sports leagues, is they don't let you do watch-along live streams because technically, that could be considered copyright stealing. Whereas, like, NASCAR's a lot more lenient on older uploaded races from about 2013 on back. So we probably do something like this, like that, if we were to do a watch-along. I didn't watch I didn't watch 2/3 of the race because I went bowling and burger eating with a lot of friends. Definitely better than this finale. Sorry for spamming. Just wanted to see. Oh, where'd it go? Just wanted you to see this. Don't worry about it. Try not to spam though, and everybody. Speedway Anywhere. NHRA has one to go, and the Snowball Derby is coming up. There is no off season. There's a NASCAR off season, but there is no racing off season. Jarrett, do you think the Titans can make the Super Bowl? Personally, I don't think so, but I think they're like the AFC Vikings, and I don't think the Vikings are good enough to make the Super Bowl either. I mean, just being realistic, like the Vikings, if the Vikings do well, if they keep it a game against Buffalo or beat Buffalo this week, I will believe in the Vikings. I will think they're a Super Bowl contender, but at the moment, I don't think they are good enough to beat a Philadelphia or a Buffalo or maybe even a Jets, which sucks because I'm going to the Jets-Vikings game in December. But I think they're very much like the Titans. The Titans are very much like the Vikings. I don't think either of them are Super Bowl contenders, in my opinion. It's just the haves and the have-nots have been so much greater in the NFL, whereas the parity has gotten so much better in NASCAR. Dale Jr. Racing late models this month. Yeah, I might try and make that. I don't honestly know. He goes to the Super Bowl, honestly. Unfortunately, probably. I'm not a big Eagles fan, but that seems about what would happen. Yellow Flag Productions. Knowing Minnesota sports, the Vikings definitely aren't making the Super Bowl. Yeah, I know. The Brett Favre Bowl. I don't think we need to say anything positively with Brett Favre's name attached to it nowadays. Say what you want about NASCAR drivers maybe being shitheads at times or jerks at times. They all look like saints compared to Brett Favre. Montana asks, where can I find the full season point standings? I'll post them up on Wednesday morning at 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 p.m. or 8 a.m. Eastern Time. But they'll be on my community tab. Lukeo, have you ever played Forza Motorsport? Yes, I have. It's actually the first game I got in the Xbox 360 back in like 2007. Cuss charts. All right, my bad. Let's end this off on. Let's end on a really strong note here. If there's anything you really want to ask, you can always leave a super chat. If not, I'll pick and choose from the chat itself. Okay, 2023 championship pick, anybody? It is too early to do a championship pick. There's so many. I think Larson's going to have a resurgence. I think Kyle Busch will. I'm going to be interested to see maybe what Jones can do. Bell is going to be stronger, I think, next year. Maybe Truex or Blaney gets, a win at least. We had 19 winners this year. That'd be a good question. What win this? Okay. Let's do a poll. Let's do a poll. Which winless 2022 driver gets a win in 2023, not 2022. And I'll put Truex, Blaney, Almirola, and screw it, just for my own sake, even if he gets 1%, I'll put McDowell. I'll ask you guys that. Let's have a poll right here. End out on a couple fun polls to end the year off. Remember, again, watch on Eric Estep's channel this Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be really, really fun season finale of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. And then, of course, coming in February 1st, 2023 on my channel, Season 6 premiere. A lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of fun. Be sure to subscribe as well. And vote on the poll in both the chat and on my community tab on my channel. We are seeing a big lopsided victory right here for Ryan Blaney. He's in the 60s%. Truex is pretty close. McDowell actually pulling the double digits at the moment over Almirola. And I'm not saying McDowell even as a joke. Like, Michael McDowell is somebody who had if you add in the points that he was suspended or penalized, and you look at the entire season overall points wise, Michael McDowell actually was like in the top 15 of points scored this season. He was not a bad pick whatsoever. The team's trajectory is just going up. That 34 team is going to be good. It's going to be very good in the coming years, even after McDowell, because I think if they keep it in line and have Zane Smith in that car, that's going to be a dangerous car in the future. David Bell, thank you. He says, thank you for all the great content. Well, thank you. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you and every single person that watches each week. It means the world to me to have so many people who come in and wanted to share in this community. And the thing is what I like about this year more than any other year is y'all have held me very much accountable when I might have a bad take, or I say something that's unpopular. I appreciate the fact that you guys just don't blindly follow everything I say. Keep me honest. That's in my opinion on YouTube, that is very much the telltale sign of a good community, is when the creator is kept honest by his audience, his or her audience, I should say. And you guys have been amazing at that this year, even if it might piss me off because everyone doesn't like to hear that they're wrong, but I appreciate every moment of it. We're going to end this poll here. Blaney is your pick, and then Truex, then Michael McDowell. Not many Eric Almirola votes. NWP NFL standings. Number 1, Minnesota Vikings. Well, I'm happy with that. I hope for Danny's sake that the Titans stay up in number 2, beat the Chiefs tonight. I think that'll actually, I think it'll be a better game than people think. Should I go with the Titans on the money line tonight? I mean, I wouldn't put a ton of money on it. Personally, I don't put any more than $30 on a bet. But I don't want to give financial advice, but for me, I don't put more than $30 on any bet at any time. I didn't look into any of the odds or anything like that, so I wouldn't even know what to say. Thank you, Height Extreme. Says I make some of the best NASCAR content on YouTube. Well, I hope that next year we make it better. That's what I hope. I have some ideas, some things we're going to try that might not be normal on this channel, but maybe will be really big. Maybe some live iRacing content, partnering up with some people. And I hope to see every one of you along the way with it. Andrew says 2022 better racing in 2021. At times it has. At times it's been worse. I think it was a lot worse at the short tracks. I think I'll be real with you guys. I think as a year overall, just because of the way the last half kind of unraveled. As a total season, I thought 2021 was a little bit better than 2022, but I thought 2022 had a lot higher highs and a lot lower lows. I've enjoyed pretty much every season since being on YouTube. 2018 is the worst one, and that was the first one. So it's gotten better pretty much every year. And I can't wait, man. I can't wait for 2023. I do trust that NASCAR will make the short track and road course racing program better. We got new locations, new races, North Wilkesboro, Chicago Street Course. I might not agree with every change NASCAR's made with the schedule, but I'm excited to see the direction is going. It's been a fun year. Might not have ended the way that we wanted it to. The racing at the end of the season wasn't all that great, but we had fun. Mudhead asks, IndyCar coverage? A little bit. There's going to be a little bit more. It's not going to intrude on the NASCAR coverage, though. It might actually go hand in hand with the NASCAR coverage. Maybe I'll enlist the help of a David Land on a little bit of that. I'm sure that he's more than happy to have more people, more eyes on IndyCar. 2023 is gonna be a fun year for this channel. It's gonna be a very, very much an evolutionary year. But it's gonna be fun. It's been fun this year. It's been fun every step of the way, and I can't thank you guys enough. Let's end off on the last couple comments. If any super chats roll in, I'll be sure to try and read them. If any of you, because I see a lot of you are from Tennessee based on my analytics, if any of you are going to be at the Tennessee game this week, this Saturday, I'll be there. So if you see me or Danny B or Black Flags Matter, say hi. What's the Cole Murray? Let's end on some fun ones. Well, real quick, from Racing Road, is there F1 coverage? We'll try. The part that I want to try is more at track coverage. So maybe we'll see. Might be closer to the end of the year though. 105 days till Daytona 500. Nice. Cole Murray, what is the best NASCAR game? In my opinion, NASCAR Thunder 2004. That's my favorite. Dustin, thank you for the $2 super chat. Next first-time Cup winner. That's a good question. Well, how many nowadays are left that aren't winners? Like, that's the question. I'll say Ty Gibbs. I'll have some fun with it. I'll say Ty Gibbs. I think the kid has a lot of talent, and I think him and Noah Gragson both could pop up at one race or another and get a really good result out of it. Will Dodge return? Not anytime soon. A lot of stuff is dried up that I was aware of. And unless there's something that's gone completely under the radar from everyone, I don't see Dodge returning anytime soon. They were really big on wanting more electric stuff, and at the moment, NASCAR hasn't really given anything concrete on electric or electrification for the future. Should North Wilkesboro get a points race in 2024? Yes or no? Full honest answer. Yes, I think it should. I think it should only have one race a year, though. I think that little area needs a little time to build up, so I'd be fine with North Wilkesboro maybe having a playoff race. Keep all the drive, especially if you're only gonna have one bye week, you have to have spans of weeks where you're closer to the Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina area, so you don't go too far. Gerald says, will Michael Marutz be on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast, and would it be awesome to have Michael host the NASCAR? We're going to keep the current host that we have now, but Michael will definitely be somebody on our short list to have on next year. we're not, we didn't have guests every single week this year, but it was more fun in general. He says, I don't know about a playoff race, is what Eric Zarin says. That's just my opinion, man. I think that especially if you fix up the short track program, having more short tracks in those early weeks of the season of the playoffs would be, I think that would benefit the racing wise and the drama wise a lot more than, I don't know, like a Kansas. And I go to Kansas. I like Kansas, but there's no drama that comes out of clean, good racing, unlike beating and banging short track racing. NASCAR Racing Fan 927 for the $2 Super Chat. Can NASCAR get more races on network TV for 2023? I don't see why not, especially ending this deal off. They were able to do it the last 2 years, so maybe have one or two more NBC races, maybe add another Fox race in there, maybe have the All-Star race be on Big Fox. Be the first time, I think, ever that the All-Star race would be on Big Fox. Blue Jimmy 48 fan, did COVID ultimately affect the amount of guests on the NASCAR Wiki podcast? On season 3, it did. Nobody was doing anything. We had a ton of guests. It was really fun. But I think what we're doing now is really fun too, and you guys are coming out in force, and I appreciate that. It's been really fun watching this show grow and evolve through the years. What about a season rating? Honestly, I'd give it a 90. I usually give stuff out of 10, and I would say it was around a 7 out of 10. Good race. But for me, it's like this. Like 5 is average. 6 is a bit above average. 7 is good. 8, really good. 9, great. 10, perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect season, in my opinion. But I would say that this one is, it was a good season. It was a good year. It was a very good season. Let's see what else we have in here. Irvin says FS1 ain't going away, but the industry changes, so who knows? Yeah, but I mean, the FS1 was supposed to host the Busch Clash, and it didn't. So the changes can be made. We'll find out probably closer to December, January, more than likely. I think we will. The problem with that is the championship format is not legitimate. It's the one we got, so we might as well try and make the best out of it. And again, after the Chastain deal, if you're someone wishing that the format was going to be taken off, it's not going to happen at this point. Let's go with one more after this one I'm going to read. Kevin for the win says, who's your favorite driver? I don't think I've ever heard you say. Well, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was always my favorite growing up, but he retired before I even got on YouTube. Currently, of the current crop of drivers, Michael McDowell would be my favorite personally. I like rooting for the underdog, and he's somebody who seems like he's finally hit that right area of his career with the right team at the right time, and I'm just happy seeing him succeed. He's a very nice guy, too. But let's get one more, and then we'll finish off the show for the night. Let's see. I want one more question. And then we're going to end off, and I'll see you guys Wednesday night. Again, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We're going to have a lot of fun this off season. I know that we're on a bit of a delay, so bear with me. We got one good question to put on here after the Super Chat. Napa Racing Fan 927. Should the Clash and All-Star race be longer than 200 laps? No, not the Clash. All-Star race, nah, make it a sprint. Napa Racing Fan 927 for 2 as well. Can NASCAR get more races on? Oh wait, I already looked at that one. Let's see. Last one we got here. Thank you, Cavante, by the way, for the $5 super chat. It's insane how underrated Jimmy Johnson's career was. Like, do people understand we will never see a career like that again? Where do you rank him all time? All time, fourth, I think. I personally put him fourth all time behind Dale, Jeff, and David Pearson. Let's see. Let's get that last one in. And if I'm not answering, maybe it's because some of them might be repeat questions here. I just want to make sure that we get the best out of the stream we can. How big? Okay, I like this one. Let's end off with Dirty Def. How big of a star can Chastain be? Well, he's a worldwide name now. He was trending worldwide. He is a cross. I put Petty fifth, by the way. He is a household name now, and I think that Ross Chastain, with the craziness that he has, with the big playability, I think, if you want to bring it in that sense, I think that Ross Chastain could be as big a superstar as Kyle Busch, honestly. And Kyle Busch is a huge superstar. I think he is almost this generation's Tony Stewart in amazing moves. So that's a good way to end off. Positive way. Let's be excited for 2023. Thank you, J-Rod. I knew you liked my shirt. Subscribe to the channel. Watch on Eric Estep's channel on Wednesday night, NWP season finale at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Season 6 coming up February 1st, 2023. Same start time as it's always been. But I think that's going to cover it all for this year. So I'll see you guys Wednesday. It's been a fun year, and I cannot wait to see it next year. So till next time, have a good one.